Hi guys, it's Silverette again, and with another episode of Silver City, and you know what it is because you clicked on the video and you've seen the title and all that. But yeah, as you can see right now, I am building a somewhat weird looking building. That is because I figured, I'm building the city, but all the buildings look kind of good in a sense, though I wouldn't want to say that. So let's just say that all the buildings are probably a bit too high class to actually be realistic, so I figured you need some ugly buildings in the city as well. So I just, on purpose, decided to create an ugly building, which is what I'm doing right now. It's like one of those weird brick concrete things that you don't want to see in a city, yet they're everywhere, or something like that. I don't know exactly what the situation in like American cities is. Like, I kind of have some stereotypes and some cliches in my head, of which many of them actually turned out to be true. That was very funny, especially like the stuff about the American flags and the street lights and the buildings and all that. But yeah, basically this means that this building is not going to be quite the most interesting thing ever to look at, and also not to look at me building. Now, that's a good thing, because I have plenty of things to talk about, and because many things have been happening in my life. Vacation right now, I haven't done anything. It's almost over. I need to go to school tomorrow again, and I haven't done anything. Like, I haven't done any schoolwork, even though I have a test week. So that's gonna be some major problems. And well, I haven't really done loads of things RCT3 related either. I've been kind of addicted to Minecraft, and then this morning I loaded my save file and it got corrupted because of update and I lost everything, so I cried. Then I played SimCity, and then SimCity crashed and I lost everything, and then I cried. And then I was like, oh, Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, I'll come back to you, don't worry. So yeah, that kind of happened. And then there was the fact that I had to celebrate my... well, not really like that, but I celebrated my birthday yesterday, and so I still have a sore throat, and I burnt my tongue, and speaking hurts, and yeah, basically. But it was loads of fun. It was really awesome. So holy shit, life has been amazing as of lately. Except I need to go to school again tomorrow. But yeah, basically back to Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, because that's the game that I'm playing. Well, this was a little parking lot. I've actually been talking to people, and I was like, can I actually do this? Because as it turns out, well, obviously, I built like these buildings in these squares, and then I get empty space in the middle of them. So I figured, meh, might as well put parking lots in them. So I asked some Americans about their parking lot experiences, but they were like, mwah, you can do that. So I was like, yeah, thank you very much, that really helped me. No, but yeah, I'm just gonna keep this. I kind of like the idea though. Like, I don't have other places where I'd really put one. And then, speaking of stereotypes, I was like, might as well throw an American house in there just to make sure that everyone knows that this is an American city. I don't know if that really makes sense. But I definitely perhaps should have, well, practiced more with this, because I haven't really done that. And you can probably tell because I don't really know where everything is in this set and how American houses work, and I definitely need to look for some pictures and stuff like that. Though in the end, this house didn't come out all that bad. I kind of like it, especially the shape and where it's at right there. Like, I don't know. I just like the placement with the parking lot and stuff like that. It's not all that bad either, but I feel like, I still feel like it has a bit of a derpy look. Not exactly what I was looking for. It's the problem that I have. Well, I don't really have something in my head. It's usually I come up with something in my head, and then I try to kind of build that in Rollercoaster Tycoon 3. But with the American house style, I just had something in my head, but it was nothing more than a vague idea, and I just randomly placed some walls in Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 and hoped for the best. So considering that I did it like that, it actually came out very well. So that's actually a good thing. Now over here, I started work on a new skyscraper, and yeah, this is already the third building of the episode, so loads of stuff is going on here. And this skyscraper is going to be the second skyscraper. It's not nearly going to be as tall as the first one, and it's not very complicated, honestly. I just wanted some, well, fancy antique-ish classic building that I would put on the square, and especially that little gallery. I love those things, like the classic, well, pillar thingies. I don't know, what do you call them? You have them everywhere in Italy, but basically they're awesome. So I decided that I would make one of those things, and then just attach a skyscraper onto it, just because I can, I guess. Well, it didn't come out that bad. You'll see in a couple of minutes. So yeah, the skyscraper is just going to be a somewhat simple thing. I didn't build it based on anything. I just decided to randomly place down walls and hope for the best once again. But it actually turned out into something that kind of looks like it's been inspired by certain buildings in Rotterdam, though that's not necessarily a bad thing. And it looks pretty good, I guess. I've been getting some feedback because there's a minor delay of a couple of days between actually recording episodes and then uploading them. So of course, as soon as I finish an episode, I go crazy and show everyone on Skype and all that, like, oh, look at this new building I made. So that's really awesome, and thank you, community, for being very supportive and all that, and we're just all being friends and all that. So that's really awesome. But yeah, this tower, I just felt like I need something glossy, and then I want to connect something with bricks and normal windows to that. So that's what I decided to go for, and with really no other plan in the back of my head, I just decided to go for it, and that pretty much turned into this. Though I'm still not a very big fan of the shape. Just the glass is a bit too wide. I wish that Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 would have actually allowed me to get some quarter tile glass stuff so I would actually be able to make the glass part just ever so slightly smaller than the actual brick part, so the actual mainframe of the building. But I couldn't do that, so it's a sad day for everyone. But except it's not really a sad day because it didn't come out that bad. And this is just me again working with that glass set, which I do have to, well, kind of watch out for that I don't overuse that too much, which I will do in the series. Yeah, I think this is almost the only glass set that I really use, simply because the texture is so good and there's so many different shapes and sizes and all that, and you have all the curves and diagonal pieces and slanted pieces, so it's a really awesome set. So really I just can't not use it. That's basically how that works. And then I decided to add the same old windows from Shy Guys Main Street 5 because they're awesome. Once again, I've been kind of overusing those things, but I don't think there's really a way of getting around that. They're just too good not to use them. You know, might as well overuse things. If they're good, then why not go for it, I guess. And at that point I thought, like, maybe I can add some stuff to this, but it just turns out that nothing really works. They're either too fancy or not fancy enough, so I just decided to keep it as is, and decided to add some little details to the floor over there, because it didn't have any windows yet, nor did the paths have borders, so I really needed to add that. And at that point, that thing is pretty much finished, and then I was like, what's the next thing I could do? And I just suddenly felt like making trains, so figured I would have a go at making a train station, because I read all the comments and I reply to them. Honestly, YouTube is a community. You should read your comments and reply to them, because that's kind of like, okay, no, sorry. Okay, I won't do that again. I'm going to save you my YouTube rants. But basically, so people were suggesting like subways and other ways of public transportation, and I felt like maybe my town is way too small to do that stuff, and I figured I would actually try and make a train station, because even if your town is somewhat smaller, you're always going to have a train station. It's a very common way of transport, at least in Europe, and I'm pretty sure it also played a major role in the development of America, so I'm just going to go America. Okay, sorry. I can't. So I figured I would just try it, and yeah, that's basically me building a train station. It's nothing too complicated. It's a very simple train station in terms of design and the way it works, basically. It's just it's two, yeah, what do you even call those things? I don't even know. You know, two, like, boarding platforms. That sounds way too official. That sounds like it's a rocket, like, outer space and all that. I don't know, but basically cool. And I like doing that because I could place benches and lights and add flowers, and as soon as I can add flowers to anything, my day is already perfect. So thank you, train station. It it was actually fun to design that little train station, just because I just like the general idea of making small platforms and kind of adding decorations to them. And then came the main station building. Now, of course, in the series, because I'm making a entire city, well, not really an entire city, but a part of a city, I figured that I wouldn't do any interiors, but I did want to do like a general exterior of the train station. And now I've seen a couple of train stations in my life, and this one is most of all, well, somewhat inspired by the main station of Rotterdam in terms of shape and all that. Yet for some reason I actually had the train station of Rome in the back of my head while designing this, and it really doesn't look like the latter at all. It's definitely something like the shape of the Rotterdam train station, especially with that triangle occurring, is basically what it kind of looks like. So it's more like that. So that's what it turned into, and this is just the main frame. I decided to build this main frame with the roof and the supports, and then build the actual building within that and add glass to the main frame or something like that. So it's very simple in structure, but it's something that I felt like I had to come up with, and I wasn't sure whether it would actually work well, but I think it turned out pretty okay in the end. Yeah. So of course this is just that hair pulling glass editing stuff that you really need to do, and decided to go on for a different blue color simply because the dark blue just looked a bit too dark, and I feel like this color is pretty safe. Now I need to say, even though I do like the general look and shape and all of that jazz of the station, I still feel like there is some lack of detail, and I know that I always want detail in all of my builds, but I still feel like this station is a bit too simple. I know I'm not going to add random frames to the windows because I've already been doing that everywhere, and I feel like I shouldn't do that. I just feel like some different textures or other things should be added to this thing. And now that I'm talking about that, and there's something that I really need to talk about that I should have realized beforehand, and I kind of forgot, and I feel really guilty about this now, and I'm not going to record this episode again. But I'm using my new headset, and that means that I'm using a different mic than I usually am, and you could probably tell at the beginning of this video because you could probably hear a very slight buzzing behind my voice when I talk. That's because I have a buzzing noise, background noise problem, and I can use Audacity and noise remove all that, but you're still gonna have a very slight buzz in the background whenever I talk. Now this is because I have a ground loop with my headset and my crappy laptop and the crappy electricity network that we have, and no, I did take my laptop out of the adapter, and I took my mouse out and everything. Basically everything that's connected to my laptop except my headset still have a ground loop. I don't know why, it's really annoying, and as soon as I place my hand on my laptop, the ground loop is gone. But the problem is that I'm stupid, I'm very stupid, and I make so many hand gestures, even though I shouldn't do that because I'm doing a let's play. I still make them, so my hand is not on my laptop. Honestly, it should be on my laptop to prevent the ground loop from happening, but it wasn't, simply because I'm stupid and I want to talk in a very natural way, and I move my entire body, and I'm basically dancing to the words that I'm saying right now. So sorry for that background noise, but I can't bother to record this episode again, especially with my throat, because I ruined my throat yesterday night, and I really can't bother to ruin it again because I have school tomorrow, and I'm not gonna quite dare that. But anyway, back to Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. The station is finished, and I'm working on a new building. And now I've noticed this later on, but this building is probably way too similar to the building on the other side. Now, at the time, I felt like this is something that I want, simply because when you look at cities like Rome and Bucharest and all that, you have all these squares and you have symmetrical buildings around them, and it looks so awesome. But then I realized this is a modern American city. Modern American cities are not going to do what the dictators in Europe did with their buildings. So I probably shouldn't have done this, even though it looks kind of fancy to have symmetrical buildings in a sense on both sides, and those nice little arcs and everything. I probably shouldn't have done this, but I'm still going to keep it. I mean, it looks good. It may not be realistic, but I still feel like, probably still, aesthetics, well, are more important than realism in a sense, simply because I can always hide behind the excuse of I am creating a perfect city, and not necessarily a realistic one, but one that I would want to see, and one of which I really like the way it looks. Even though I shouldn't say that because it's not safe, because you should never set goals for yourself to create a perfect or a beautiful something, because one, you shouldn't boast about yourself like that, but also you can't create something that's perfect, and so you shouldn't strive for it either. Really, I don't see the point in that. Like, how can you strive for something impossible? You should at least set a goal that you can actually do, and that's actually somewhat human to do, I guess. And yeah, that, by the way, I just added 2 windows to that building because I saw that the wall was entirely white, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I forgot those windows. Time to add those things because before I forget it. And then just some small details on that little building so that it looks a bit more like the building on the other side of the same street, and you have that nice symmetry going on, and beautiful, beautiful symmetry. I love symmetry, and especially the symmetry that's not exactly symmetrical, so that it's kind of like a fake symmetry. That's beautiful, so that you don't see it right away, but then you start noticing details, and it's like 2 pictures that you have to look at and then see the differences. Anyway, that's it for this episode with so many buildings actually, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.